We're in Surprise, Arizona for round number 3 of the Lucas Oil Off-Road Racing Series powered by Geico Power Sports. Ken Stout, Cameron Steele, ready to bring you all the action on a spectacular day. The classes we'll feature here today will be pro buggies. You, my friend, you had the Mixmaster going in round 2. We thought you were going to pick up a win, but that thing was grinding away.
It was tough. You know, the Menzies Big Red Machine gave me a great car, and, you know, for us to go out there and be able to run on the podium 2 races was great, but we want the win. I mean, second's the first loser as far as I'm concerned. We had some transmission problems. We sent the tranny out to the Foltz guys, and they did a great job, and I drove the car in practice. It's been absolutely flawless. I'm super excited, and, you know, the class of the field at the last round was Doug Fortin Jr., and he struggled a little bit in qualifying, so it's kind of a mix. You know, it's back and forth. There's 8 drivers that really seem to be in the mix all the time, and hats off to Mike Dondell, the top qualifier in our class this time around.
We'll keep our eyes on this guy because he's already made Jerry Welchel very upset, and Jerry Welchel was very upset the last time he was here as well, so should be some good drama unfolding there. Well, my friend, Mr. Cameron Steele, you are out of here. Time to suit up and go racing.
I'm ready. I'll take the racing seat over the announcer seat any day. I'll hand that off to Deegs right now.
Brian Deegan's in. When we come back, it's time for the Pro Buggy. Stay with us. Back to the MagnaFlow exhaust duel and the Desert. Steele is out of the booth. Brian Deegan is in the booth. Nice to have you here, brother.
Thanks, man. I'm excited to be here. Want to check out some buggy action.
It's going to be cool, no doubt. These guys are very talented. The cars are extremely quick. And, of course, Cameron Steele is out of the booth because he's climbed back into the race car to see if he can maintain his second-place point standings. He's had a great run so far. Here's a look at your KMC wheels. Starting grid, Chuck Cheek up on the pole. Joe Masick, Doug Fortin, back-to-back wins, round 1 and 2.
Yeah, Doug Fortin's a guy I'd definitely be watching for. See if he can back it up again here at Arizona.
Cody Freeman also off to a great start. There's a look at Cameron Steele back in row number 4, and Mike Halliday right alongside Jerry Welchel out here looking to get up there and see if he can get up on the podium. Of course, the field is just littered with the best in the business.
Yeah, for sure. Bobby Picoy in there, always throwing it up front, so I'm excited.
Well, he's not in row number 4. In fact, he's in the hot pits. There's a look at the number 916. That is Cameron Steele, who's pulled off the track. Let's get more on that with Rob Klepper, who's standing pit side. Rob?
And guys, back here in the hot pits, our own Cameron Steele, the 916 Menzies Motorsports entry. Back in the hot pits before we even go green. Trouble with the radio. They're saying that his radio that he has in the car is staying keyed on. So it looks like they're going to do a quick radio change and head Mr. Steele back out to the track.
That is so frustrating when you have a problem right before the race. The radio is so important. You need your spotter, especially in this sport. So he's going to have to get it fixed, get back in there, let the nerves calm down, and get back at it.
There's a look at the MagnaFlow exhaust point standings with Doug Fortin on top after those back-to-back wins. Cameron in second place, who, by the way, is still rocking those beautiful pink Nerf bars you see. And now with more on that car, let's go to Kelly Snyder.
I spoke with Cameron Steele about some of the new mechanical changes he made to his buggy. He said that he widened the front end of his buggy almost 4 inches and lowered his shocks to gain more stability going into the turns. He said he got the idea from some of the top riders like Fortin and Dondell, so hopefully this will create a more stable use of his buggy and he won't have to use the turning brake as much.
Well, you've got to think that with a wider front end, it's going to help the turn in.
Yeah, it definitely is going to help. There's a lot of flat turns on that track. Cutting inside, you want the stability in the front end.
I mean, when it comes to wheelbases and measurements, you're probably all on that now, right?
Oh, yeah, there's definitely a rule book, so you got to stick by it. That's one thing you always want to make sure with your crew chief is, hey, am I going by the rules? So we'll see.
There's a look at the rhythm section as we go on board with Chuck Cheek, courtesy of Ready Lift, and that rhythm section is very, very violent.
The moguls it's one of the craziest sections on the track. You just pin it, come off that jump and grab a gear and fly over the top of the moguls. It's definitely something you don't want to go slow. The slower you go, the worse it is.
Super light onboard camera there with Cameron Steele as well, so we'll have a nice low side shot, and Cam is back out there, as you can see. As you mentioned before, it can get into your head, so he does have another lap here to settle down a little bit, shake some of the nerves, and get into game mode.
Yeah, definitely. When you have something happen that's unexpected, like a radio problem, you get back out there, you have to get your game face back on, start thinking, all right, I'm going to get a good jump, going to go for the lead, so you got to reset your mind.
There's a good look at that Bully Dog Toyota pace truck. bringing the field back around. As you also get a good look at this truck, and that left-hander right there is really sketchy. When you get in race mode, right there at the exit of that, it falls away off camber pretty hard.
Yeah, the fast line is going mid to high, but you can get cut off on the inside if someone really wants to make the pass. So it's really, you have to protect your line.
Once again, on board with Chuck Cheek, about to get this thing started. Chuck, of course, the defending class champion. This is open-wheeled racing. Any touching that happens, somebody's going for a ride. Green flag is out. Here we go.
This is the most intense part of the race going into the first turn. Everyone at once, you're just kind of cringing. All right, we'll see who comes out front.
You can see these guys giving themselves plenty of racing room for the most part as it stands right now, unlike the trucks. I mean, you guys like to lean on each other a little bit.
Oh, definitely. The buggies are open wheel. You can't bump too much. I think it's more front or the back of the cars where you really can push, and it looks like it's just want to be clean in a buggy.
Great onboard shot. There is your leader, Masick, who slides it into the bottom up to the top and pulls it back down. Great battles up here in the front. Oh, and a mess in the back.
Pile up. Looks like they're hooked together. Open wheel. That's the problem. You get hooked together. You can't get apart, so...
Halliday part of that with that 904, the 995 of Randy Manier, and a great battle for second place.
It's like Cheek on the inside with the better drive.
Chuck Cheek turning it in nicely. There's a good look back at the 996, driven by Doug Ford, of course, a points leader who has just been on fire so far this season. We go on board with Doug.
The inside there on turn 2, jump off this plateau and you're setting up for turn 3. Got to get a good drive coming into the moguls.
And we've seen that jump just before the moguls kick some guys off a little sideways. You got to hit those things as square as possible.
Definitely. You want to come off the jump straight and land with the power on.
Another great battle here. One more time. Doug Fortin has taken the spot back away from Chuck Cheek. Chuck Cheek with the Stronghold team, who is just littered with some of the greatest drivers out here in multiple classes. But Doug Fortin proving he's got something for him here today. A great start here to the Pro Buggy category after 3 of 14 laps. There's your Canada top 5. Rise Arizona. That is a wild shot here at the MagnaFlow exhaust dual in the desert off the side of Cameron Steele's car. You can always tell by the pink Nerf bars. We've been razzing him about it for a little while, actually since the race at the end of last year, but looks like he's having a pretty good run right here.
Definitely right in the mix representing Tilly's, and he's definitely going for the lead, so I'm excited to see what happens.
The big red machine, of course, Menzies, and Steve Menzies, the man behind that team, giving Cam a great opportunity, and that is Cameron's teammate right there as well, who's also had a great run this year, Larry Jobe. Doug Fortin back in the hunt. You can see him sitting right behind Mike Dondell, and Mike Dondell and his brother Dale Dondell, who runs in one of the truck categories, actually built Doug Fortin's car that he's won with right there. There's a good look at Doug Fortin, who's right behind Mike. So pretty cool little stat right there. Those guys all working together.
Yeah, it seems like this class is a tight group of friends, and they get on the track, though, it's all enemies, and everyone's battling. That's just the way racing goes.
Yeah, it's every man for himself when you get out here like this. And these are sprint races. It is absolutely full on when they drop the green flag. See these guys getting out in that fluff a little bit, and I know you guys will use some of that fluff to actually check you up without getting out of the throttle.
Yeah, the track's really coming in right now, and it's getting a little slick on the inside. The fluff gets pushed out, and you want to keep that right rear wheel right in that fluff just to hook up.
Great look at the buggies one more time, just running down through here, and I believe that's Chuck Cheek taking the position back from Doug Fortin. So a great battle between those two guys, and you know, if Doug Fortin gets out there in that fluff, I wonder, it almost looks like that right front tire was a little low, didn't it?
Yeah, he's definitely pushing a little bit. Cheek's definitely got a fast line down the inside there. It looks like he's pulling a little gap. Cameron's getting in the mix at this point. Looks like he's got a little competition, and it's all out through the moguls.
Thought I saw a little puff out of Cameron's car, and there's a little steam out of the back of it. So that one might be getting hot, and there is a pass for the lead as Mike Dondell goes underneath Masick.
You want to carry your speed over the jump coming into turn 6. It's that most high-speed section of the track. Your top gear, going for it, throwing a pitch into the long sweeper. You want to carry your momentum back down this front straightaway.
And that's one of those places where if you get up in that fluff, especially with these guys, a little lower horsepower but a lighter car, it takes the momentum away from these guys, could really kill them at the end of the straightaway. And by the way, there is Doug Fortin, that white car. McCoy's going down underneath him, but Fortin, it looks like 2 right side flat tires. That is your points leader who's in big trouble. And how about this? The guy that was second in the points, Cameron Steele in the hot pits, he's in trouble.
Wow, it's definitely shaking up the points, and this is what racing's all about. You never know what's going to happen. These guys are going to have to charge back and try to salvage some points this race.
You know, Cody Freeman also off to a pretty decent start this year. He's struggling out here in this particular race, but that's the way it goes, right? I mean, a tough field, a lot of competition, and the points sway back and forth all year long.
That's what makes it exciting, and it's a long series.
The competition caution comes out. Mike Dondell leads them around to the stripe, followed by Masick, Joe Masick in the 947. And so we'll group all these guys back up and get them started one more time. And there's a look at the man, Mike Dondell, who's off to such a good start here. And boy, he came flying through that field after qualifying on the pole. There's a look at your Canada All Natural Pet Foods Top 5. Welcome back to the Lucas Oil Off-Road Racing Series. Hey, there's a look at the John Deere 764 high-speed dozer. You got one of those, Deegan?
No, that's awesome. You could definitely build some big jumps with that thing. I'd love to have that at the compound.
I thought I saw you sitting in the cab ready to race that thing, dude. Just calling the other dozer drivers out, you know. Cool stuff here. We are right in the middle of the Pro Buggy category. We saw the Bully Dog Toyota Pace Truck pulling these guys back around. Mike Dondell's made a big run through the field, but that is the points leader in the pits.
Doug Fortin in the pits. It's mandatory yellow. This is the spot where you really want to think about making the charge for the lead. The first half is survival, and at this point, it's race time.
So Doug Fortin had pulled in. He had 2 right side flat tires. We'll see how he does, if he can salvage any points at all. Chuck Cheek makes it 3 wide as he makes a good run down the straightaway, and Mike Porter completely sideways. Pretty good save right there.
Back on the racetrack. Oh, we got a good battle for the lead. Cheek putting it to Dondell, and Dondell's been so fast, but this is the part of the race where it's all or nothing, and Cheek's a racer. He knows how to lay it down. He needs to pull out a gap now.
Was Cheek holding anything back before?
He could have been, because this is the important part of the race, so we'll see what happens.
A couple of them hooked up back there, wheel to wheel. Oh, and speaking of hooked up, Chuck Cheek and Dondell going at it as Dondell makes a run back at him.
This is a good battle. Dondell, you can tell, as a racer, he wants it. You can tell the moves he's throwing are desperate moves, and Cheek isn't taking any of it, so this is what it's all about.
Right up beside Cheek. Cheek lands on top of him with the right front tire almost in the cockpit, and Masick right behind those 2 guys waiting for him to make a mistake. You're sitting in that spot right there. How do you not make a mistake underneath the pressure of an attack like that?
You have to compose yourself, and it actually fires you up when someone actually runs into you and hits you. It makes you want to just beat them that much more and give it back to them. So these guys will definitely have it out for each other this race.
Joe Masick, unfortunately, looked like he had some problems. There he is right there. He fell from 3rd back to about 6th place as he struggled through turn number 1. Things just dancing over the mogul sections. Okay, when we come back, we'll find out who wants this thing the most. Can Mike Dondell hang on for his first win of the season? Rocking the house here at Speed World Off-Road Park with the MagnaFlow exhaust dual in the desert. This is the Pro Buggy category. Ken Stout, Brian Deegan has joined me in the booth as his good friend Cameron Steele is out there in competition, having a pretty tough day, but these guys up here towards the front of the pack have had a pretty solid run. Joe Masick lost a couple of spots, but there is Cam's partner. That is Larry Jobe.
Larry Jobe doing it for Rusty out there on the Menzies team.
Very talented team, very talented driver is Larry, has been doing this a long time. And there's Doug Fortin, who pulled in with a couple of flat tires. The points leader coming in here with back-to-back wins in the first 2 rounds.
Doug Fortin making a charge back to the front. He had problems. He was in the hot pits, back on the yellow. You have to salvage your points. You have to make as many passes as you can and salvage your race.
Back up towards the front, that is Chuck Cheek in second place. Right behind him, Bobby McCoy. Chuck Cheek battling for the lead a little bit earlier, but man, nobody seems to have anything for Don Dale today. Chuck Cheek, and Mike Dondell flips it over all by himself and then pumps the oil out of the bottom of the thing. No matter what happens, he doesn't want to start it back up now.
That has to be the worst feeling right towards the end of the race, leading the race, catch an edge and roll it over. But when you're racing on the edge, that stuff does happen.
And you very rarely see these particular cars go over by themselves without some sort of contact. But it gives everybody at home a good idea just how deep these ruts are.
Oh yeah, toward the end of the race, the track really gets chewed up, a lot of big holes, so he ended up catching a rut.
Boy, and you could hear Chuck Cheek just standing on the throttle.
Cheek's excited. He got the lead handed to him. Now he's on cruise control, trying to stay out of those big ruts, maybe learning from the mistake the leader made.
Coming into that final turn, can he hang on here and pick up his first win of the 2010 season? Oh, McCoy. A little sideways right there coming into what is a caution area. And yes, Chuck Cheek and the Stronghold team will pick up their first win here in the Pro Buggy category. Dondell has to be sick.
Definitely. This is where go back, frustration sets in, and you just freak out.
He has started that thing back up, as you can see. Probably doesn't realize how much oil came out of the bottom of that thing. He might be buying a motor here soon, just to add insult to injury. But Chuck Cheek, only thing he's going to be picking up is a checkered flag, baby, a little hardware.
Metal Malicious Cameron Steele coming in 11th place. That's still points. He salvaged his points. He was in the hot pits a few times and came out, got some points. There's next race he's going to have to battle.
By the way, take a look at Doug Fortin. Speaking of salvaging some points, did fight his way back up to 7th place. Bobby McCoy in 2nd. Rich Ronco in 3rd. Joe Masick hung on to 4th, and Larry Jobe rounds out your top 5. So a good run for those guys. There's a look at Steele and Freeman, who will take a hit in the points here today, but it's a long season. Our leaderboard, courtesy of Rockstar Energy Drink. A wild race, but when it was all said and done, it was the big man, the champ from a year ago, Chuck Cheek, who wrapped it up. We'll talk to him when we come back. Out here, round 3 at Surprise, Arizona Speed World Off-Road Park. The fans are still hanging tough. A lot of racing yet to go here over the weekend, but they were certainly treated to a great race here. If you missed it, here's your E3 Spark Plugs race recap.
Dondell was killing it the whole race till the very end. He rolls it over on the lid, oil shooting everywhere. It's crazy.
And of course, the guy that received the lead was Chuck Cheek. He hung on to that, said thank you very much, and brought it home. Let's talk to him.
Chuck Cheek, you told me you'd see me up on the podium here today. What a great race you had. Take us through this.
You know what? It was a real good race. Dale just put up a heck of a fight. He got out there on us a little bit, and I don't know what happened to him, but it was, it's really good. It's being a part of a new team with Stronghold, Scott Bailey. He's got an excellent crew. They're dedicated to winning, and so here we are, the colors to prove it.
Congratulations on your win.
Thanks, Kelly.
Great run. He hung in there tough. Good job, Kelly. Let's take a look at the MagnaFlow exhaust points.
Doug Fortin still on top. That's how important it is to stay out there, salvage the race, get your points. Cameron Steele did the same thing, coming in 2nd in points, ended up in 3rd after all the problems. So definitely as a racer, you stay in there till the end.
Let's get back down to the winner's circle.
Bobby Picoy, you started 13th, worked your way all the way up to 2nd place. Take us through this race.
It was tough. It was a battle out there. I could keep seeing. Catch my breath here for a second. Come around the corner there, I could see all the leaders out there, and I wanted those leaders in a bad way. I saw Chuck up there, and me and Chuck are good buddies, have become good buddies out here, and it's just been a blast. This Makita car was hooked up, these Maxxis tires, way to go, K&N, kept everything clean. Can't beat that. This was an awesome race. What a great finish. Love it.
Congratulations on the 2nd place.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
So a great run for Bobby as well. Congrats to everybody that did a great job. And, of course, our fans had a blast out here. Beautiful weather at Surprise, Arizona. thank you very much, Brian Deegan, for coming in here, dude. Best of luck to you tomorrow. Hopefully you can double up here this weekend.
Oh, for sure. Thanks for having me. I'm always excited watching the Buggy, so it's a good race.